a reasonably successful day. I think it's been as Eric Balchunas said, he says, easily the biggest day one splash in ETF history. Now, before I tell you the actual amount that came in, which you could all read, I know everybody was projecting a lot of money. Tina, Boomerang, I know you had a big projection. What were you thinking for how much trading volume day one?
I'll tell you, Aaron, I'll tell you.
Billions and 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 billions.
Yeah, thank you to Trump. He did it for me. But yeah, billions and billions. It's going to be a lot. It's like institutions are coming in, but besides that, it's not just institutions, it's also new money, just new people learning about it because all these 11 companies that are now issuing these ETFs are going to go out and do the marketing for us. They're going to be trying to pushing this as much as possible. I was actually listening to another space today, the crypto town hall with Scott Melker and Mario, and they brought on, three of these companies, Bitwise and two others, that we basically asking them questions about, what they're focused on right now and how they're able to keep this momentum going. And, they all said their focus right now is having, all of their agents out talking to financial advisors, talking to platforms to get on their platform. So, we're going to see ads and marketing, and it's going to be, it's exciting. It's exciting times. Nobody really knows how much exactly is going to come in, but I know that we're set up in a very good way.
Yeah, I wasn't that surprised. I don't know if you saw, Tina, that Elizabeth Warren tweeted about the ETF. You see that?
I did. She finally came out. She couldn't just let us have it.
She couldn't let the crypto community have a win. She had to FUD Bitcoin one more time and create a sense of fear, uncertainty, and doubt about Bitcoin crypto. The ETF, I wasn't actually surprised that Elizabeth did that. That's par for the course with Elizabeth. I was surprised that Vanguard banned Bitcoin ETF trading from their platform. Did you see that?
I saw that too, and honestly, you snooze, you lose, Aaron. They're gonna find out sooner or later. And it's just the fact is, at this point, your investors do want exposure to Bitcoin. And I don't think it's for you guys to decide, if it's safe for them or not. I think at this point, people can do their own research. And because based off of law, Bitcoin passes, it's not a security, it's already been cleared, and now the ETFs are out. It's even more nuts that, people are coming and still trying to stop it, because at this point it's a little offensive to average investors like me and you. At this point, we want Bitcoin exposure. Let us decide for our own.
Totally. And I guess some not on-chain sleuths, but some traditional financial information sleuths were saying that Vanguard, owns a lot of MicroStrategy stock and some Bitcoin mining stock. So very, very weird move by them.
Yeah, what do you think, Action? Hey, what's up?
Do as I say, not as I do, right? Isn't that the name of the game when you get to that kind of level? I think that's what they're playing right now. But an even more fun fact that I don't know if you caught, Aaron, is how much OTC volume kind of took place. I mean, there was 7 billion worth of Bitcoin OTC today, just on Coinbase. That is stinking wild. Soon enough, people do run out of Bitcoin and they're going to have to come to the market to pick that up. So OTC doesn't last forever. And that's the part I'm excited about.
Exactly. And do you think that there's going to be like a race to like who has the TVL, total value locked?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why everybody wanted to be first, right? That's usually the name of the game. Like, how can I be the first ETF to come out? If BlackRock wasn't involved in this, I think ARK was gonna have it. But obviously, because BlackRock is involved, they clear the way for everybody else as well there. But yeah, I mean, ARK had this one in the bag until these other guys kind of came along and said, you know what, we're gonna apply for it too. So yeah, first mover advantage is a big deal in this space, and they're just trying to capture as many people as possible. And ultimately, again, we say this here all the time in crypto. It's a matter of how big are your bags, and you gotta accumulate now because you're not gonna get a chance to get as much as you're able to right now. So load up those bags, and please don't buy into the ETF. I mean, let's be serious. Why would you want somebody else holding your Bitcoin?
You're really creating a sense of FOMO here, Action.
You're
Who's
welcome.
paying you?
You're welcome. Come on, Aaron. You're the one always asking for hot takes.
True. True. So what's your hot take on what's your favorite ticker out of all like the special tickers for the Bitcoin ETF? So I'll just try and I'll name the ones that I think are special. Hashdex is DeFi, Valkyrie is Burr, VanEck is HODL, and I think those are the only special ones. You guys have a favorite?
Well, DeFi for me is definitely the one, and it's because it's not spot, it's futures.
I think, yeah, I mean, for me, it's the ones that are actually like more crypto native, the ones that have been here in the space rather than just coming in and offering an ETF right now. Um, but it's interesting to see how they're kind of all doing the things differently. The ETF fee wars, very interesting. They're all kind of, most of them are the cheapest ones are definitely losing money right now, because it's a race to see who can give the best deal and get the most customers. But another interesting thing that I heard today from these ETF companies, I believe it was the one you just mentioned right now, that they were, I know VanEck is doing it, and I think they are the other one that they're doing it as well. But they're basically donating like 10% of their profits back to the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I thought that was cool.
I mean, they got to do something, right? Because miners are not benefiting from transactional fees here. So, yeah, thanks, guys. You're doing what you're supposed to do, in a sense.
Well, it's interesting actually because they're not all doing it. It's only like a few of them. So, they could just say, we don't care. But to your also question, Aaron, I think it's interesting to see how like it's being perceived by mainstream now. I'm getting texts from my friends. It's even texts as permit, like very beginner, even like what even is an ETF? Why are you guys so excited? Because I'm like sharing stories on my Instagram, and now they want to know what the hype is. But I was looking to see like what kind of experts, if you want to say, are recommending to these people, like in terms of investment allocations. And some percentages that I found was one was by Tom Lee, that was 2%, Matt Tutty 5 to 10%, and Dave Natick is 1 to 3%. And I might have butchered the last names, but it's interesting. And if you think about it, even that like 1% or 2% of allocation is going to be huge when you put it all together, in terms of money that's coming in. And I feel like we're seeing like Ethereum having a rally right now because of this ETF that's getting approved. And I think people are kind of just assuming that, oh, well, Bitcoin is approved, so Ethereum is next. And they're kind of moving their liquidity. The actual native crypto users are kind of moving their liquidity now to ETH. And the cool thing about Ethereum is that I think Ethereum run is the one that's going to also trigger the altcoin bull run. So it's going to be interesting to see how, where liquidity goes from here. But what are you guys doing? What are you trading right now?
You know what? There's an elephant in the room, Tina, because I am interested in learning about top crypto trading strategies for 2024, 1 million in 1 year. But where's our special guest? You watch him all the time, Tina. What do you think happened?
I know, I love him. I honestly don't know. I mean, because he confirmed actually a couple of hours ago again. We have followed up with him, so I'm really not sure. And we sent him again a message right now. So he might be having an emergency. He might be having some trouble. So I hope it's nothing bad, and I hope we get to have him in today. If not, I'm sure that will. If it's something crazy has happened and he's not coming for some reason, I'm sure we'll get him on again for this topic, because personally, I am a fan of Invest Answers because of his data driven content. I think that he puts things into perspective in a mathematical way. Yeah, I was really excited to get into it with him today, because I watch a few crypto media, Altcoin Daily being one of the main ones. But I really actually, it's been a long time that I'm watching Invest Answers, and that's why I reached out to him for the show. But hopefully we'll get him in soon.
Hi, Tina.
Tom, what's up?
Oh, you know what? I just wanted to pop in to say hi because I saw you guys on, and I think I might be able to answer your riddle about Invest Answers. Now, this is just speculation, like most of the things I do. But as a streamer on YouTube, I am exhausted. The last like 3 days / however many even weeks, like I'm beat. I'm laying here in bed at 8 o'clock, so maybe he's found some.
Yeah.
I don't. Is it Austin or Aaron? I can't tell.
I mean,
It's-
Who do
Aaron's
you
usually
think?
the one makes fun of people, so yeah, it's definitely Aaron.
Wow. No, I mean, it sounds like you have a hard life in Pennsylvania there, Tom. Waking
Hard.
up, making money, going to be tired. Very
So
relatable.
hard. So hard. No,
Not
it's
only
been
that,
fun, but
Aaron, have
it's
you seen his
long.
numbers, his streaming numbers? You should check out that post from him. I mean, it's nothing too shabby over there.
I'd venture to say number one streamer in Pennsylvania. No, but
Tom, well, we're happy to have you. It's always
yeah.
good to have you. We missed you. It's been too long, and I've actually been trying to get him on the space too, but I feel like you're always kind of tired. Um,
Well, I'm on a different time zone. I'm in the future from you guys. It's more tired in the future.
But give us this, Tom. Give us this. Because you are a trader. We just did an interview on my channel, and you talked about, it was right before this happened, you talked about a golden cross on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. The first time this has ever happened in Bitcoin's history. And I was thinking about that when you told me for the interview. And I was like, what? Doesn't that happen like every bull cycle? We get the golden cross where the smaller moving average crosses above the longer moving average. But that happens on the daily all the time, but like every cycle, but like not the weekly. It's the first time this ever happened, right, Tom? What does this mean?
Yeah, that's correct. It's historical. It actually officially happened at the start of this week, which put it like a day, no, 2 days, I guess, before the ETF. So that in our video, we talked about that. Pretty spicy timing. What does it really mean? It's just a show of a shorter term like momentum, right? Like an interest, a demand in the market, surpassing that of a longer term one, and it just shows like a longer or larger view time frame of demand and buying and interest. And it isn't, I don't know, anything you should take out leveraged positions on or anything like that, but it's something that is a positive sign, and it is showing you over, well, 200 weeks is 4 years, like a 4 year to 1 year almost comparison of price and average price. So it's very basic TA. It's historical, and it was interesting and cool. And I will say, since then, price has gone higher. So I think we just cut it at that. And if
But
it goes
like,
down, then we never talk about it again.
but like, it's such a short term for a weekly metric on the weekly scale. I mean, surely this cross, it would signal like bullishness for like a year or two, right? Isn't that like a better way to extrapolate?
Um, but it'd be great if we could quantify it like that, make everything
But
a
like,
lot.
how can you say it's such a
Yeah,
short term thing?
I see what you're saying. Well, it isn't. It's a reflection of a very larger term thing. So what price does right now? So I said, oh, it went up. So yay, we can celebrate. We were right. But like, it can go down as well. It can go much lower than it is here, and it's still showing you that projection of strength and like the increasing the momentum. It's not just the market trending. It's building. It's growing stronger over time, which is what you'd expect into a bull market. So even if we have like periods of down or see some big move, it doesn't really invalidate it. It's just
Well,
a
Tom, let me
very
ask
big.
you this. Tom, let me ask you this, because I know you've been trading for a while, multiple crypto cycles. Now, it seems we're coming into this new bull cycle. What strategy would you give a trader in a Bitcoin bull cycle? Like for 2024 specifically, as many practical tips and tricks as you can muster. Do you have anything like that? Because you actually do it.
I've been doing it, yeah. Um, the first thing is what are your goals? Are you looking to build wealth? Like, are you looking to put in time, not just money, but like time and emotion and things like, or are you looking for like a fast flip or something? And I find that's the answer a lot of the time now. And for those people,
And is that no
really
leverage?
don't
Are you
have
saying,
price.
are you saying just buy low, sell high? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about with leverage or what?
So leverage would imply most of the time that you're looking to like get rich quick, or you have like a small time frame, because that's how people use it. I'm not gonna get into leverage like too specific, but that's how people use it these days.
So you're talking about spot trading.
So what I was gonna say is I don't really have much advice for people that are looking to, 100x this year, 10, I have to get a 20x, 50x this year. Like, good luck. But to everyone else who wants to join in crypto and succeed, my advice is always the same. It's start by DCAing Bitcoin, build a position in Bitcoin, do it over time. We're going to have these moves up, and those moves up will inevitably have moves down. And if you jump in, when it feels right, and it'll always be on some big move up, you're just going to have this really painful cycle of buying tops and
Okay, so
watching.
dollar cost average is a good strategy, but like when you trade personally,
Mhm.
are you using leverage, or are you just like, you're using some leverage, right?
I absolutely do. Absolutely do. But I do all kinds of trading. Not all my trades are leverage. And in my history, most of it has been spot.
So dollar cost averaging was a good place to start. That's one tip. But if somebody
Everyone
actually wants to get into the trading, if somebody, hey, they don't want 100x, dude, they just
shall
want like a
start.
nice 10x, like how would you advise them?
We've created this illusion that a 10x is not unreasonable or, like to be expected in crypto. And that's just an unreasonable return. That's why I said people looking to do that. It's like my luck. It's like best of luck. That's my best advice to you. You just have to grab like the lottery ticket. You have to pick the right one.
Okay,
Like,
so then if you're saying that the smartest thing a newer crypto trader can do is don't use leverage. If you're
just
going to
slow it
trade,
down.
if you're not going to
Yeah.
dollar cost average, if you're going to trade, basically find a position to get in at and find a position to get out at. And if that's the case, how do you know when to get in? How do you know when to get out? How do you do it?
Summarize all of trading. No, I think even if you want to trade, you should still DCA. You should still build a separate position. Um, you can have different little bags of money and allocations, and you can put some to trading and some to investing. And I think the people that are successful do both in this space, because I don't think if you don't have the long term investing mindset like that, I don't think I haven't seen much success, even in like the shorter terms of things, because you don't have that foundational belief that this is all going to work. You could be like shaken out of things really easily.
Tommy World
Well,
Power, how's it going, man? You trade, right?
yo, yeah. Good to be here. I was gonna say the biggest thing that I pay attention to, having been through the 2013, 2017, 2017 cycles, is the importance of the cycles. And it is, if there's anything that I would say to pay attention to, is just be really tuned in to where we're at in that cycle, and always check up on it every week or two. Because that's the worst thing you do is holding a big bag, when the market crashes and goes down 99%, there's no recovery, but we're static at the top. And on the other hand, a lot of people miss the entry. I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I was talking about crypto. He wasn't that tuned in, but he's like, yeah, all my friends got washed out from it, this and that. I'm like, yeah, now's the time to get in. So you have to pay attention to the time to get in and the time to get out. On a macro level, there's so much noise when the market's excited too. So you gotta pay a lot of attention to that. So I don't focus on the short term as much, though I do try to catch trends like meme coins or Bitcoin NFTs are popping right now. But we want to catch the next trend within the cycle. But the cycle is the most important thing to pay attention to, where we're at in the cycle.
That's very true. And obviously, I think that we are set up for a great cycle, considering the Bitcoin dominance and scarcity, but also couple that with the halving coming up. But let me ask you guys this. So ETFs are now live, and this is kind of like a before and after moment in crypto. I want to know, do you think that it's going to change how you trade crypto now that the institutions are going to have kind of the majority of leverage, maybe? And this is a flowing panel, so whoever, you can jump in anytime. You don't have to raise your hands. And we got Seth in the house as well. Hi, Seth.
Hey, GM. Does everybody else feel different now that the ETF has passed? I mean, any aches or pains anywhere? Kind of point out where.
Yeah,
Just goosebumps.
tons.
I feel better.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just me. Yeah, little wave of relief. I slept really well last night. Got to bed really late, but slept like a baby. So yeah, thanks so much for having the space. Thanks so much for having me up on stage. Really appreciate it. And yeah, love you.
And
When
Seth,
you say you
I
slept like
actually
a
asked you to
baby,
come. I actually wanted Seth to come because I know that Seth and I usually don't agree a lot on Solana, and James was going to be a big Solana bull, so I wanted to get a little debate going, get some spicy stuff. But unfortunately, we don't know where our guest is, so here we are. But yeah, I guess we'll go back to the topic of if you guys are trading things differently now since we have big institutions in the space.
Hey, Tina, did Solana get the ETF? Oh, no, they didn't. Okay, great. Thank you.
Ooh, I see what you did there. But you know what, J Crypto? That's why you still have a chance to make life-changing money with Solana.
Sam, jump in here. I see you chomping at the bit to
Hi.
speak.
Hi, thank you. So my name is Sam the Carpet Man. If you guys haven't or don't know who I am a trader. Although I gave it up 2 years ago, I learned that hodling and dollar cost averaging is the best way to go. And if you are planning on trading, I would suggest to swing trade, leave a uh, long-term time horizon. Perhaps get in when when the 200-day crosses the 50-day, and that's usually the golden cross, and then perhaps get out when the 50-day crosses the 200-day. So you won't make 100% of the move. So ultimately, you would probably make a good chunk, usually about 60%. But the only thing that you have to be careful of is you got to control your emotions, because there will be a lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda, and people get greedy in this market. So I would advise people to not trade and to hold and dollar cost average. And if you do plan on selling, I would probably sell. Um, if you were to come into the market with $1,000 and you were to double your money, I would at least sell $1,000, regardless if you think it's going to 10x, because the idea is to alleviate and just and not trade with your emotions. So once you get your money back, you can't lose. So if it were to go up, great, you make money, and if it were to go down, you're not, it won't hurt you. And so this advice comes from a trader who I used to trade on average about $23 million a month for about 2 years. And let me tell you, it does put a toll on you. And my long-term positions, my hodl positions outperformed my day-to-day trading. And this is a guy who's glued to the charts, literally. I neglected everything in my life, to focus on this. And I've traded with some of the best traders in the crypto space. And one
And
of
that
them was.
original trading you were doing, was that swing trading? Was that with leverage? What was the original that didn't really
Good
work for
question.
you?
So I've almost never leveraged. I learned how to leverage about a year ago, 2 years ago, right at the tail end of quitting trading, okay, entirely. And that's when I lost my shirt. Leverage destroyed me. I only leveraged between 4 to 10x at max.
Well,
And it just,
maybe like 3x is good though.
3x is okay, but you can still get wiped out if you don't have enough money to cover, your losses. Um, you know,
Yeah, not financial
uh,
advice. Sorry to jump in, but you can
yeah,
get wiped out on 2x leverage in the stock market. I mean, in crypto, like just a volatile move, like some fake news has to happen, an exchange has to be hacked, and you get wiped out, and then it bounces back, but you're gone. I would just say one thing: I strongly discourage margin. If you want leverage, you got to learn how to do options, and there are more crypto options coming out, but just margin on crypto is a recipe for disaster. It's my input.
it is. I've seen a lot of like wicks. Like sometimes when I enter the exchange with a decent amount of money, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the Truman Show, where the market is, trading around me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like I've seen things, unethical things. Like I've had screenshots of trades that went viral, but I didn't want to tell anyone it was mine. Where people were complaining and telling Binance, like those 3x leverage coins, where I shorted Ethereum at one point at $413, and within 15 minutes it reached 325. I was up nearly 258,000. Binance, my trade was negative 75,000. Okay. And then I contacted Philocone Crypto, and he said, dude, just wait it out. They obviously know that there was a mistake. Everyone's complaining about it. But, your
Wait, so
only luck is
you shorted it. It went down. You're supposed to make a bunch of money, but it wasn't showing up that way.
correct. I was negative 75, although I should have been plus 258,000. So I waited a whole day. And then the very next day, they started to adjust the algorithm for that 3x leverage coin, and I was up 58,000. I spoke to Phil. He said, dude, just take the money and run just in case. So I took the 58,000. I was still short. I left $200,000 on the table. And CZ, he stopped following me when I complained about it. Initially, I reached out to Binance, professionally, and I asked them if they could look into it. They said there's nothing they can do about it. And then I messaged CZ, and after messaging him, he stopped following me, and it just left just left an unsettling feeling, and it just turned me off. So don't think that I mean, I've traded with some of the best traders in the world, and leverage trading is not the way to do it. You just got to dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out, and have a long term time horizon. It's the only way you're going to do it in crypto.
And
It's
then
the
as
only
far
way.
as and then you said like that's what you think is best, but you said if you're going to do it at all, do the swing trading. Like basically when the golden cross happens, that's a good time to buy. When
The
the
death
reverse golden
cross.
the death cross happens, then that's a good time to sell if you can find a good coin.
Correct, but you won't make 100% of the chunk. You would make, right about 60%. So you won't get at the top, you won't get in at the bottom, but you would be safe.
So the golden cross on the weekly just happened, first time in Bitcoin's history ever. Tom just let us know. I think Tom is I think I said the wrong state earlier. I think it's Maine or something. But since the golden cross is happening now, this would be a good time to buy, I guess is what you're saying.
Well, depends. So, I mean, I use the Golden Cross on the daily, not on the weekly. And right now, we're in like phase two of the bull market where we can technically come back down toward like the $35,000 range, which is the demand range. Today I had a meeting with a trader, a professional trader who's been doing it for 15 years. He just sold his paper to BlackRock. Okay. And he kindly shared it with me, and I looked at it, and it's right in line with a few traders out there who are saying that the support region somewhere around 35,000. People are waiting for 31. It may wick there, but we may not get that. So 35,000 is the demand zone. And I think within the next 90 days or so, we're going to either tread sideways, okay, or work our way down to that support region. But I think within the next 90 to 100 days, we're going to climb out of this phase and enter, continue the uptrend. And then I think by the tail end of this year into the first quarter to the second quarter of next year, we'll see all-time highs. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think right now it's a time to consolidate, and then perhaps
I like it.
again,
I
yeah.
like it. DeFi Bull, get in here, man. Trader's the first word on your bio, so I assume you must be pretty good. DeFi Bull?
They'll be scared. They'll be scared.
Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, I forgot I had my hand up. Yeah, that's pretty solid advice to be fair about the leverage. I was actually thinking the other day, like with the funds that are coming in, like they've got the best market makers and the most money, and all these futures traders that are barely profitable, they're literally about to get liquidated by their grandma's pension fund.
Yo, Tommy World Power. So, what do you trade most when you do? Because I know you probably do like, angel investing and regular investing, but when it comes to trades, like I see you trading meme coins. Is that been the place to be? And what type of vertical in crypto are you looking to now?
Yeah, great question. I think the biggest thing here, I think, is we have sometimes resistances to different markets. Like I was resistant to meme coins initially too. Like one of the first meme coins I heard of was poo. And you just hear that, you're like, what the hell? But poo went up 1,000 times in a week. And it was actually one of the best performing meme coins in this past summer. So I think the big thing is, look, we don't make the rules. We just have to learn how to play the game. And a big part of that is technical analysis, paying attention to, the price volume action and just paying attention to trends, uh, we can't really make trends. I mean, I guess at a certain point we can, but we usually just ride the waves, and that's what it's really all about. So you got to keep your ear to the ground and look at what is building up attention and interest, maybe what narrative, and try to catch it early. And I think that's a big part of the game. So I don't have any attachment to any sector. I'm just listening to, trying to be early to the next narrative.
Any guesses?
I think there's some hints that we have in front of us right now that meme coins I think are going to be a big theme, and that was something we saw in the last cycle too. Which again, sometimes I wish I'm a faster learner. In that Shiba Inu, I heard about it. I should have been in that, but I missed it. And if you guys don't know, Shiba Inu was one of the best performing assets in 2021. It went up like I think 1,000,000%, like 10,000 times, 10,000 times. I mean, some crypto assets went up 100 times and we're happy, right? 10,000 times. So there was a trend set there with meme coins. And what we see right now is meme coins are still carrying the energy and it's increasing. So I think it's pretty likely that that's going to be a wave in the cycle. Now, I'll just caveat here real quick, you guys. 99% of meme coins are absolute garbage. So just like you're picking Bitcoin or ETH, usually, look for blue chip meme coins, like blue chip on Solana is bonk, and they got a good team behind them. So not financial advice, but that's one that I see. I think they'll do well through the bull market. Pepe had a great start, but I don't know how strong their team is. But I'm watching the holder count of Pepe and it's still increasing. So I don't know, probably will do pretty decent as well. But yeah,
It
watch out for
almost
the tiny ones.
it almost seems like, Bonk is Solana. Dogecoin is kind of the OG proof of work. Maybe SHIB is like Ethereum, but it almost seems like each L1 and L2, and we have so many viable ones nowadays. It seems like sometimes if a meme coin, every base layer is kind of might develop its own little meme coin this cycle and have that community that really like Solana rally behind Bonk or Injective, whatever it is.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, you
And
see them
just
kind of.
like cock in you is AVAX #1 meme, and they had a fair launch. So I'm only investing in memes that have a fair launch. And if you are
Bach in you?
cock in you, like a hen, like rooster,
I
cock,
got you.
COQ.
I'm sure that's what it is. Sure.
Is it a big cock?
Their
It's a
market
French.
cap's getting pretty big, I would say. Yeah, pretty darn big.
Nice.
French. It's Coke. Okay.
Oh God, so besides, cock and poop and all these interesting meme coins that you guys are trading, are you also seeing any arbitrage opportunities in the current market? Or do you think that it's going to be like, especially in respect to Bitcoin, is there going to be less arbitrage opportunities because of these ETFs? Just save the room for a sec. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think there's a lot of arbitrage. I mean, it's happening now. But you know what's happening? What people don't realize is these markets are moving due to the high leverage. And so one day you may wake up and you'll see a candle, drop drastically, and you're thinking everyone's selling, whereas the exchanges are liquidating positions. And then people start to sell out of fear, thinking everyone else is selling. And then it starts to spike back up. And then you realize, we're like, wait a minute, why'd I sell? That was just someone's position being liquidated. So you got to watch out for that too, those types of movements, because that could trick you.
I'm a big believer that there's more opportunity than ever every cycle. Um, so I think there already is a lot of opportunity, and there'll be a tremendous amount of opportunity, for arbing or for finding hidden gems, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like we're always kind of racing to what's the new trend. I don't want to miss the new trend, but I feel like it's kind of easy to see if you're in this space every day, you can really see where the liquidity is going to, and you can see what the next trend is going to be and still catch it at a good time. So I'm not stressing about it. I'm just watching everything very closely. But I want to go to Seth. I haven't heard from him yet. What are you doing, Seth? What are you trading right now?
At this moment. So I love that the concept of meme coins just came up earlier. I think last cycle, what we found, like you were saying, there's something of a reference collection on every new L1 or L2. We saw that in the NFT space last cycle. And I think you're right. This time around, every one of the L1s and L2s is going to have sort of its reference or it's a gold standard of meme tokens on their data chain. So hopefully we do see that sort of proliferate across all the chains. But to get to your point from before, Tina, with arbitrage opportunities, I think I'm going to be looking decreasingly at what were the arbitrage opportunities for last cycle, because I think someone's going to move that cheese too. I think that a lot of the other arbitrage
What is
opportunities,
the cheese that they're moving? What was the trade last cycle?
the arbitrage opportunities. So last cycle, where you may have had opportunities between more of the centralized exchanges, now, I mean, good luck off ramping some of your assets with the same amount of speed. The turnarounds are slower than before, and some of the policies are more restrictive. So that arbitrage using the traditional rails might be a
So
little
when you
bit
talk
jammed
about
up.
arbitrage, you're talking about like for country or exchanges, or what is the trade?
No, so arbitrage opportunities in the same asset. So when you're taking, for example, I mean, I'm using the traditional meaning of the word arbitrage.
Yeah,
So
but I understand. It's like one asset is priced differently at one
yeah,
location versus the other. But is this like
precisely.
between?
But if you can't exfiltrate your funds, good luck realizing those gains in the arbitrage. It doesn't make sense. You're going to be slowed down significantly this time around versus last cycle. And we've had plenty of new regulation come through. We've had plenty of new policy be pushed through on all the major centralized exchanges. So, I mean, hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. And I think what I'm saying is, I mean, yeah, there's no such thing as a safe sex, right? CEX. I mean, it's DEX or bust, in my opinion. So I'm going to be looking at if there are arbitrage opportunities in given assets. I'm going to be looking at different AMMs versus different DEXs or different OTC desks where I can realize those arbitrage opportunities. That's not my main strategy. I just wanted to call that out because you brought up the topic of arbitrage. Me, I'm looking at meme tokens. And unlike was mentioned before, I'm not looking at blue chips right now because that's not where the explosive growth is. When you look at something that has a 10,000x increase, well, you had to have been risk on to get there early enough to realize the 10,000x. That's where I'm at right now. I'm
And
looking at
meme
risky
coins that you're
speculative play.
looking at, what like, because from what I know, most of like the meme coins right now they're running are on Solana. But I'm wondering, what are you looking at? Do you care what the underlying, L1 is or?
Well, yeah, of course. There's always the question of liquidity. There's always the question of support. There's always the question of community, right? And partnerships so protocol support and partnerships. Those are big for me. So I am looking, I think, where nobody else is looking right now, and that's on Polygon. There's not as many meme tokens on Polygon as there should be compared to other reference L1s and L2s, in my opinion. I think we're going to find that just like how in other areas of these markets, gaps get filled, right? Opportunities get seized upon, and I think there's going to be some that launch in on Polygon. No, not coincidentally, a good friend of mine is launching a meme token on Polygon.
You're an insider on Kulo, huh?
I get all the culo.
Oh, you got called out. Oh, buddy.
I get all the culo. No, that's not. I'm just joking. But yes, I know people who are.
Hey, does anybody else on stage? Have a killer trade for 2024 that they're thinking of, or a killer trade in the past you want to share?
But some doable trait that like the audience can go home and maybe, think about or try to practice today.
I would suggest if you're looking into a meme coin, I would go after something that has a fair launch. You just don't want to invest in something where some guy created a whole bunch of supply and selling them to the world. Fair launch is basically saying, okay, 1, 2, 3, go. We're going to launch this token, and everyone can buy it. At the market rate, and that's what I would focus on. And so Cock Inu is one of those tokens, and they're getting listed every day, every week by, X, Y, and Z exchange. So that's the one I'm currently focusing on. I'm not really a big meme guy, but since I stumbled across Cock Inu, I said, you know what, I'm going to give this one a shot. It worked out really well. I mean, I have friends who invested 1,500, they made 800,000. I didn't do that. I got in near almost a high, and that dollar cost my average on the way down. And now I'm at the point where I'm just slightly above my entry, which is good. And I think it's a $100 million market cap coin. I easily see it at $1 billion. So again, this is not financial advice, but I'm holding it to a 1 billion market cap. I'm going to sell half, and then I'm going to hold the rest in hopes that it becomes a top 20 coin.
There we
So
go.
yeah.
Anybody else? Something could be meme coin related. Doesn't have to be a practical, doable tip or trick with trading.
Yep. So Sam, I actually trade meme coins pretty much full time. Obviously, I'm big on Bitcoin and all the others. That's where most of my portfolio is allocated. But on a day-to-day basis, I trade memes. And to add on top of what you said about fair launches, the key thing that you want to look for, which Pepe, Grok, and a few of the other big ones this year have, is a renounced contract and a burnt LP, which basically means it can't be rugged. But the two things you want to look at before getting into it is the community and the narrative it's got. Obviously, the community is self-explanatory, and the narrative being like what the story is, like what's behind it, what catalyst has it got. With meme coins, there's not much you can do, so it's just like exchange listings, marketing, community efforts.
100%. And Cock and you, they did renounce the contract as well. And yeah, so I'm in line. It's in line with what you just said. So thanks for sharing that. That's really important.
Yeah, but
And
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tina.
no, you go, because I want to change the question, so you go.
Sure, sure. Sam, you said
Yes.
8 fair launches. So that's financial advice, right? I'm kidding. Let me stop. You got lucky. If you didn't get rugged before, you got lucky. Look, I pay attention to a Telegram channel called a poo index, right? It is something that will probably discourage anyone who ever looks at that thing. Unfortunately, I did speak to the owner of that channel, and it's taken a while for him to incorporate Solana. He just says the data is too vast and he's indexing all the stuff, whatever's there. But for right now, I used to look at that just to give stats to my community. And the poo index is gives you the LP locks for the day, meaning that it the actual launches that happen that have valid LP versus the honeypots, the rugs, the scams, the jams, right? And the stats has not changed since the existence of BSC, right? And that is, it's about a 94 to 99% rug ratio. On Solana, it's probably more like 99.997% ratio. So, Bull, you can attest to that. That's why you laugh, because you understand this metric. I'm pretty sure you run around Telegram as well,
I
as
do.
a lot of meme coiners do. And a lot of my community has looked into this, and it's a literal shit show, right? I mean, you literally have to, dodge bullets, and God forbid if you don't participate in the pump and dump, you are getting dumped. It is something I do not mess around with, dude. Yeah, every once in a while, it's just a gambling shoot, and it's, dude, you get scratched and burned. So you guys be very careful. Not financial advice on this, dude. And again, Sam got lucky. He got, like, just like the people with dog with hats, they got really lucky. How many rugs did they get to between that? How much of their portfolios down because of that? Now it's up, fantastic. But just wanted to kind of iron that out, because Sam made it seem like it was all rainbows and cereal bars, but it's not. Just be very careful, guys.
Jake
I
Crypto.
gotta.
Jake
Okay.
Crypto. One sec. You're absolutely right, Jake Crypto. And actually, the first person who ever told me, hey, watch out with meme coin, Aaron. I know you're into it, but just watch out, was Tina, was Boomerang. Guys, let's give the speakers a follow. And certainly the co-host, Boomerang, give him a follow. Tommy, you were jumping in.
Yo, yeah. What he was saying was spot on, and actually, and I want to add to that too. You guys be very, very careful, and just not even meme coins, but also NFTs too. One thing I've learned is, you don't know who's behind those projects. Could be, they might be out the gates and really lucky, but how well is the team going to perform in 3 months, 6 months, years down the road? So, kind of a rule I have for myself is, I want to see these projects out minimum a couple months, if not 6 months, if not more, to get a sense of how they're really functioning and how their team endures when things are hard. Because when things are easy, everything's easy. It's like when people aren't paying attention to them, what are they doing to build that attention and stuff? So, yeah, just a rule I have. So again, be very careful of things right out of the gates. That was a great statistic, like 99% rugs. Yeah, it's crazy. So
The other
I
thing, oh, sorry, I was going to say real quick, the other thing that saying that I have with a few of my leadership, and they they incorporate this into lifestyle, which is those who can't trade launch shit coins. Just letting you know.
I love that. And to Tommy's point, I wanted to say, yeah, for sure, especially with NFTs, since it's, I feel like, less liquid. Be careful what you ape into, unless you want to end up like me with a bunch of worthless JPEGs. or look into projects like Boomerang that have actual utility, utility tokens that are using the underlying technology of NFTs to provide a tool. What we are doing is basically providing disappearing messages as NFTs, so you can reach out to anybody in Web3 by just having their wallet address, send them, an NFT as a message that will disappear for however long you set it to disappear for. But sorry, I had to do a mini shill. But back to the topics, I wanted to ask you guys, what about the staking narrative? Are you investing in like the staking tools, the staking narrative? Because I also heard that like now we have restaking as well, which is, for the audience that might not know, it's the idea that the same basically token that is used for securing Ethereum proof of stake networks can now be used to secure many other networks as well. So, I'm just wondering if anybody's also investing into that narrative.
I got shaken out. 2021, I was massively into Pancake Bunny, if you guys remember those back in the day, and a bunch of other, I remember that, and in Beefy and was it Auto Farm? Auto Farm, I did them all. I mean, I was, even when Looping came out, I was in Looping. We ran a huge DeFi staking type of community that we were just in everything and compounding the living life out of our money. And what happened with Pancake Bunny was the start of a roll down period of flash loans. And I got lucky. I was able to take my money out. I just happened to, it was literally by chance. I took a lot of my liquidity out from Pancake Bunny, unstaked, and a few days later, flash loan happened and I got spooked. I have stopped staking since, terrified of that stuff. I do some Aave, little bit of Curve. That's a little more, it's on a different avenue, but yeah, that's about as far as I go as my risk profile. Because I mean, a lot of folks went down to almost zero. So yeah, it's one of those things that I'm kind of worried about. But that's just me personally. But
You all sound so base comparison to like my degen self, and like I thought I was going crazy. Like I'm on osmosis. Like to me, staking, that's where I usually go for either osmosis, or if I can get into validator nodes on Cosmos chain like that. Well, not even a chain, just Cosmos, for all of the different chains that they do have. I mean, that's the way I go about it, because your validators, they're not going to go away, and you can delegate your tokens to the validators. I mean, that's a pretty, I don't want to say a safe bet, but at least I know I'm not getting rugged, because there are real things being built over there.
But you get the airdrops with Cosmos, right? That, see, I
Oh
do
yeah,
actually make,
thousands and thousands worth.
yeah, I may do that.
If someone's looking to stake, if you want a sure bet, okay, without being subject to the volatility of crypto, I would convert your coins into either Bitcoin, well, not Bitcoin, USDC, and provide liquidity to these exchanges. And I would try to focus on the top exchanges and lend money, be a lender, and make conservative, 5 to 8% return on your money. That would be a great way, because what happens is, what if you were to stake a coin, an altcoin at 10 cents, and then a year from now it's at a penny. I mean, what benefit did you receive? Nothing. But what if you were to monetize that bag at 10 cents, and then convert it to USDC and then lend 5% at 5 to 8%? That's what I would do.
Sam, that's the way to be conservative. You're dead on. I mean, you got your block fives you can put that money inside of. You can put, where else? FTX. I mean, there's a few of them. You can, be safe and just, earn that APY.
I was
Sorry,
just going
guys,
to
I was
jump
in the
in.
comments, but I think. Oh, sorry, Seth, go.
Oh no, I was just going to say what I love about that comment there. Yeah, you can LP permissionlessly, obviously, right? There are DEXs and AMMs that let you adhere to the best practices, and then figure out what that APR is going to be and if it's worth it for you. But providing liquidity makes sense. It also makes sense in the conversation or the context of staking, in that you don't have these required unlock periods, right? So like what Action was saying before, phenomenal gains that can be offered on osmosis, but there's some constraints, and it can take some time to get out of those staked positions. Whereas if you're just providing liquidity on a DEX AMM, it's instantaneous, being able to unlock, generally speaking, with zero penalties, and then retaining all the rewards that you have. What I'll say is that, kind of in rebuttal to that, is that depending on the market phase that we're in, you could view something like Bitcoin or one of the other blue chips as your conservative long term vehicle. If you're looking at outside of a few quarters, but year over year, you're looking at historically average gains of about 200% in Bitcoin. I'll take that all day, every day over LPing stables on the DEX.
What about concentrated liquidity or any kind of delta neutral strategy and anything like that you've seen recently? Anyone? Seth? No?
So it sounds like you were offering to go first, Jay. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, I'm asking. No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking you, buddy. I'm calling you
The
out.
answer is no.
We do have to wrap up the space soon, but I don't know, Jay Crypto, you have a special question in the comments. What do you think about FTX?
Oh, Jesus, help me. We're talking about FTX now? Oh, Lord.
I honestly I thought that was a shock when I saw that comment. I was like,
What
No.
and they
is the
specifically tagged you. That, and somebody also wants to know what the name of the Telegram group is that you mentioned. I am going through comments to give you guys a shout out. So
appreciation?
I'm reading it. If you guys, want to comment anything, let me know. We have 5 minutes left. But yeah, J Crypto, give us the alpha.
Yeah, if you go to my profile, I'm not gonna chill it out here, but yeah, go to my profile and it's there. Seth's there as well. A lot of other folks, but yeah. So Truth Labs, I hope everyone follows Truth Labs. Amazing account. That team, what that team does, they do a lot of exposure, on chain exposure, or expose on tracing and forensics,
I
and
just followed.
yeah, they're awesome, dude. Truth Labs, they went and they tied a known CCP wallet that they use to pay hackers. They tied that going through the FTX router and straight into the super PACs for the United States senators. So yeah, that's something that's pretty amazing. And if you look at this from a legal
What are you
standpoint,
saying? So you're saying that Solana money was flowed directly to senators?
I'm just pointing out the obvious. Yes, sir. There's something that happened to Bankman that was pretty monumentous, right? And that was the second charge was dropped, right? So he's getting sentenced for the fraud and defrauding, which he should. The second one was for political, whatever, election interference, manipulation, whatever all that lovely political stuff was. In the United States, if some of you that are overseas don't know this about us, whenever we trigger a case, it has something called discovery. Well, that discovery is never going to happen now. What discovery is that people get subpoenaed, records get subpoenaed, and now they're recorded in the courts for the public view. So that means that all of this that Truth Labs did would have absolutely seen like these lovely senators, and it doesn't matter which side you are, right or left, on at least in the US, because there was some right side folks that were receiving the same money. So it didn't really matter. But they would have absolutely had to have that paper trail back to China, and they weren't going to have that. Yes, it's my speculation that they didn't, but I think it's out of good logic, right? So but yeah, that's kind of like my deal on FTX. They help fund senators through Chinese hacker money. That's fantastic.
But hey, on the positive side, Solana never added privacy nor had privacy projects launched on it. So all that was perfectly traceable. You're welcome.
It's time to end the space. No, I'm just kidding. But for the last 2 minutes, if anybody has any hot takes or anything you want to share before we do end it, go ahead. Now is the time. But it's been great. Thank you guys for coming and contributing. But last 2 minutes, any hot takes?
Yes, hi, thanks. Really quickly, just wanted to share that we have been building throughout the bear market the last 2 years. We have an NFT project. It's a video game. We have Disney artists. The head illustrator for Archie Comics works for us. Our Disney artist was responsible for working. He worked for Marvel. He worked for Disney. Helped draw Aladdin, Tom and Jerry, Hercules. So if you check out my bio, you can clearly see the level of art we have. Our NFTs are in-game avatars that are upgradable. So they're not just JPEGs. That's all I wanted to
Cool.
say. It's
That
called
sounds
Love
like a
Monster.
that sounds like a really cool woke Disney-backed NFT game. I'll check it out.
But we have a token. We haven't launched yet. We're not a cash grab type company. We're building something for, for the long term, if you will. So we haven't listed anything yet, but we will in the near future.
If it's long term, it's not on Solana.
It's on AVAX.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay.
Hey, I was gonna say that I'm very bullish. Talking about meme coins before, I'm very bullish on this meme coin called Grok. I think it has a great narrative. It also has a great like 16,000 holders, and I'm fairly new to the space. Like I've been I started in 2020 in the crypto space, so I experienced already a bear market, a bull market, and and the longest bear market. and yeah, like I don't invest more than 2 to 5% of my portfolio in meme coins. I think it's a gamble, but I really like that project. Like I came across about 3 weeks ago, and I
Thank you,
think
Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. We are wrapping up, though.
okay,
Noted.
great,
Thank you.
no problem.